Are you ready to start your own consulting company, but just not super sure what to do and where to start? This is the video for you. Hey, I am Sherry Sutton. I'm your business growth guide, and I'm here to talk to you about what it's like working with a mentor like me. And I want to tell you a little bit about one of my clients, Assia, and just the process that we took. So, here we go.
Hey there, my name's Assia, and I am the owner of Windhaven Academy, a childcare center providing daycare and preschool services here in Plano. And I found Sherry because I had started to understand the importance of a personal brand, and I knew that I wanted to develop something around my love for female entrepreneurship, which is kind of a jump from the childcare space, even though a childcare center is a pretty big operation, and we've been able to get it to seven figures. And then I was able to extract myself from the day-to-day operations, which was a very big deal for me and something that I was really, really passionate about. And I found all this free time. I knew I wanted to work on personal branding. I just didn't know where to start. So I found Sherry and we dove into what I wanted to be known for, what I wanted my personal brand to stand out for. And the more we talked about it, the more I was able to extract the idea of my ability to build this freedom-based business and how that was what I was most passionate about telling female entrepreneurs about. I'd already started a podcast. I was kind of dabbling in a few different other things, but none of it was very cohesive. So working with Sherry, I was able to build an actual brand, not just show up on social media, but actually build a cohesive personal brand that we built out as a consulting service. So she helped me with my branding, with helping me figure out what I wanted to be known for and helping to figure out how I could extract that and actually utilize it going forward. So it has been an incredible experience. I honestly would not have been able to pull this out on my own. It was really great to be able to talk through it, have someone ask me all the right questions. I obviously was headed in this direction, but I didn't really know where I was going and I couldn't really see what the path forward was looking like. So to be able to work with her and to have her guide me through, I mean, it wasn't just marketing help. She helped me with putting the whole thing together. I just can't state enough how invaluable it was to have someone there to hold my hand, walk me through, hear the things that I was saying, but I couldn't hear myself. So I'm saying all these things out loud. You know what I mean? I started a podcast on my own for female entrepreneurs, but I still hadn't tied together the pieces of what's my niche going to be? Who am I actually talking to? What am I most passionate about? So she was able to help me talk through all that, figure out what I wanted to do, create the offers, create a full brand. We worked with Natalia and Emily, and it has been an incredible experience. I'm super excited. We just launched a few weeks ago, so I am now the proud owner of a consulting business, and now she's helping me work on actually getting the word out there. So this has been an eye-opening experience, and I'm super excited to see where it goes. But if you are hesitating for any reason with marketing help or needing help on the idea of personal branding, give Sherry a call. She can really help extract what you're good at. And that's what she told me too. She kept her promise, is extracting what you're good at, what you're passionate about. You may think that you know, but it's so helpful to have someone who can walk you through the process, who has as much knowledge and expertise as she does, and who is as empathetic and kind and fun to work with as she is. So I highly recommend Sherry. It has been an amazing experience for me, and I'm excited to have my business and move it forward and see where it takes me.
So Assia runs a very successful daycare center here in the Dallas area. And before that, she was a serial entrepreneur, worked with entrepreneurs, worked in all sorts of different fields, and really honed a skill set of learning how to create strong operations so that the entrepreneur, i.e., her, could actually sort of remove themselves from the business. I find that there are two different types of entrepreneurs. One who wants to create a job for themselves, which is a great thing to do. And the other is someone who wants to start a business that they're able to walk away from, right? And they're two very different kinds of businesses. But she's become a real master at creating businesses that the entrepreneur eventually can walk away from. And how do you do that? What does that look like, right? How do you delegate? How do you find a team? How do you create processes and procedures? So she came to me with the idea of, hey, I have this skill set, right? I've done this a whole bunch of times. I'm now at the place with my latest business, which is Windhaven Academy, which is the daycare center, where I'm able to really not have to be there very often. And I want to start giving back some of the knowledge that I have to other business, particularly business women, because I want to show them that you can create a business that generates revenue for you, and you don't have to be there every single day, and you don't have to be a slave to your business, because I've been in that spot and I figured out how to get out of it. So I want to give back. She said, I have no idea what that looks like. Am I a coach? Am I a consultant? Am I a mentor? Do I, create a team of consultants? Am I the consultant? What does that look like? So I took her through my 3-part business growth process. And the first part is what I call root. The second part is service. And the third part is attraction. So we're going to walk through all 3 of those. So the rooting phase is really all about, why do I want to do this, right? What's my unique skill set? What do I want my life to look like, right? How many hours a week do I want to be working? How much money do I want to be making? How do I want to feel when I get up in the morning? How do I want to feel when I'm meeting with, my clients, or when I'm, organizing a team? Some people want to manage a team, some people don't. So we really spend time on that. What's her specific superpower? What does she bring to the table? How does she want to show up in the world, right? And that's really just rooting in on what you want. What's your mission with this business? What values are you going to use to direct yourself? And so we do that in this first phase, which is in that rooting phase. And during that phase, we really realized that she wanted to help women who are moms learn how to build a business that they can generate passive income from and not have to be in too much, how to really delegate, get themselves out of that business, that she really wanted to own her place as a business expert, right? As opposed to someone who works for someone else, which she had done in the past, and really own that piece and sort of enter the world from a very different place inside of her, being a little bit more public about her business know-how, which is incredible. So that was what we did in the rooting phase. Then in the service phase, we really focused on, okay, who is your target audience? Where are they now? Where do they want to be? And you really need to understand this before you do any kind of marketing, because if you don't really understand who you're talking to and what their challenges are, there's nothing for you to really market. Otherwise, I love this phrase, you're just throwing darts against a wall with no dartboard. Because the best marketing takes people on a journey from where they are now to where they want to be. I'll say that again. The best marketing takes people on a journey from where they are now to where they want to be. So you have to really, really understand that. So we spent a lot of time on that in this service part of the strategic planning process. And so we decided that it is, women who are running businesses, feeling overwhelmed, they're stuck on the hamster wheel, but they've got a successful business that they could hire people to run so that they can get out of it. But how do they do that in a way that makes sense so that they feel comfortable, right? They don't feel like they're doing everything, that they don't have to do everything, right? And some of that is learning how to delegate and being okay with that. A lot of that is processes, training processes, all of that. Again, all these things that Assia is amazing at. So we did the rooting, we did the who are we going to serve, and then the third part of that was the attraction phase. And that's where we really put together sort of what you would call the classic sales and marketing plan. So, what are the activities we're going to do? What do those look like? not every activity makes sense for every business. So what happens to a lot of business owners is they say, I'm going to do everything all at once, right? And we really decided like that's not what really makes sense. Let's do a couple things to get things moving, right? So she already had a podcast that she had started with her sister and had done like a couple episodes and really enjoyed it. And so we said, okay, let's make the podcast be something that you really own as the place where you share the most types of content. So we kind of reframed that podcast. We came up with ideas of future topics. How frequently is that podcast going to run? We started actually doing it on YouTube instead of as well as audio, and really put together sort of the whole strategic plan for that, including what the content's going to be, as well as the idea of let's then chop that up into smaller pieces that we can utilize for social media, which was the second part of that. Another part of her overall communication strategy and her marketing strategy was networking, just starting to get in front of business owners locally. She had already been doing some things with the local Chamber of Commerce. So really helping her to kind of define what that looks like. How often are you going to meet? What's the follow-up going to look like with those folks? How do you let more people know what you're doing? So we talked about those things. And the other piece of this was because it was a brand new business, she actually didn't have any logo, marketing, website, any of that. So we worked together to find some really incredible partners who I work with all the time. Natalia at Power Up Branding and Design, and Emily from Emily Writes Well. And we hired them to put together the logo, the overall look and feel. She did not only the logo, Natalia did not only the logo for the business, but the logo for the podcast as well. It's really, really beautiful. Then she did the website with professional writing by Emily from Emily Writes Well. And it's gorgeous. I have website envy for her website. You have to check it out. It's really, really beautiful. It's very Assia. She came in and did photographs with me. I'm actually a photographer as well, and she lives kind of close to me. So we were able to do all of her brand photography. So all the photography you see on the site was done by me as well. And we're doing some new ones here soon as well. So we really created everything she needs, not only all the tools that she needs to build her business, right? All of the branding, there was Canva templates, all of that, but also a very strong strategic plan that would allow her to do this business. And she wanted to do it in 10 to 15 hours a week. And so we really targeted in on what are the few activities that you could do during that period of time, right? In 10 to 15 hours a week, that's going to help to drive business for now. Then after some business starts coming in, we're going to reevaluate the hours, what's working on the activities, what's not, and what does that look like in the future as far as adding on other activities. It might not be any, but we've talked about doing some speaking engagements. We've got some things up our sleeve when it comes to that. I'll share those with you another time. But so she is now in the phase of moving forward and executing on all these things. So what did that timing look like? The first month was really that strategic planning. So doing the rooting exercise, the service exercise, and then the attraction exercise. Then we've spent about 2 months, but probably the second month was really on branding, working with Natalia on the logo and the website, working with Emily on what's the positioning, what's the messaging. Emily also wrote her a branding messaging guide, which is incredibly useful. She's done this for me as well, and I use it all the time. And so that was really month 2. And at that same time, we started working on recording the podcast as a way to sort of start having some content available when launch happened. So then in month 3, we launched the website. She really started launching all of her marketing. And during that time, we met every single week for those 3 months. So now that she's really moving, she's got a really strong plan. She knows the content that she's going to be working on. For the next 3 months, we're going to move to meeting every other week. So we really don't need to be meeting every week. And this is common with most of my clients. We meet every single week for about 3 months, and then every other week for 3 to whatever months, right? Sometimes it's just another 3 months and then you go to once a month. Sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's 9 months, sometimes it's a year, sometimes it's longer. It just depends on the person. A lot of people just like having someone to help come up with content ideas and to have some accountability, to help them figure out what's working, what's not working. And that's a great place to utilize a mentor like me. So check out Assia's work. She's amazing. If you are one of those entrepreneurs who has a successful business but feels like you're still running on the hamster wheel all day, she is a great person for you. And if you're just starting your business or you've had it for a little bit, but you could be doing more to grow that business, but you just don't know exactly what that looks like, I'm your girl. You can learn more about my one-on-one mentorship on my website. It's sherrysutton.com, SHERRY Sutton, SUTTON.com. Thanks so much. Mwah.